Good morning. Good morning, good people. Today is Tuesday, June 18th, 2024. My name is Edward Bevilacqua. Here we are at Department of Career Services, where our goal is to help our students in their journey through life, this one-time journey through life. And I think the key thing I want to stress today is this is a one-time journey. Whether something came before and or after is a different story. But this right now, this perhaps 100 years, is a one-time journey that will never be repeated, nor will any day be repeated. Good morning, Watabevi. Good morning. Good morning. Yes. Smile, face, happy face, etc. Okay, good morning, good morning. And there you go. So this is our 10-minute sort of, not really, but our morning podcast that is designed to help our students get from where they are to a better place on their journey, so that at the end of the day, the proverbial end of the day, they can say, I fought the good fight, I ran the good race, I have no regrets. And we do that in two ways. One is the worksheet. The most important thing is the daily worksheet for our students. That is the curriculum. Everything you need is contained therein. Take about 4 hours to go through the whole thing. Got to turn off the AC unit once again. Just went off on its own. It's set for 6:02. I have to change that to 5:58. Okay, we'll edit that out, right? Okay, good. Me. Right. So one is the worksheet. That's the most important thing. That's where the learning takes place in 4 dimensions: physical, which is fitness and health; mental, learning new things, learning how to learn; emotional, if you can't control your emotions, don't worry, somebody else will, and they'll probably take you out of the game. And then number 4 is spiritual. The spiritual is the most important part, and we focus on that on weekends, Saturday and Sunday, which we call G School. Today, we are going to ask the question, the meme is, how important is you? And our featured expert is Jordan Peterson, Dr. Jordan Peterson. But before we get to that, let me just quickly go through. This is a one part of a 2-part daily routine. First part 1 is 4 parts that are not part of this podcast. So it's preparation for the day, a breathing exercise. The next thing is an attitude of gratitude exercise to basically say, I'm so happy and grateful now that. And it's very important to do that. I'm so happy and grateful now that. Close your eyes. Just let your brain answer the question. Always look on the bright side. 3, review of yesterday, morning, midday, and night. There's 4 questions to ask yourself about yesterday. And then number 4, project into the future. So that's the non-podcast parts. And if you go back a year ago into our daily podcast, if you look at a date a year ago, you would see that we spent a lot of time just going through those 4 things every day. We didn't spend any time really, or much time going through the where we are in the 4-week course. Daily, okay, then we have 2, or the second thing is our 3-part podcast. The daily theme, which today is how important is IQ? Planning for the day, and then transformations. So the transformation take place physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. All righty then. And looking at this, some of our transformations, let's see, Arthur Brooks' Good Secret of Happiness. TED Talk today, we're going to talk mostly about is Jordan Peterson and IQ. Daily Stoic, good one. Inc. magazine, good. Seth's blog, I haven't read it yet, I'm sure it's good. Darren Hardy is in Red Letter. Crucial Questions to Create Transformations. Jordan Peterson is also in Red Letter. It's about belief. People who say they're Christian. What is it to say you believe? And he's saying it's not just an affirmation. It's a way of living. You don't get to say, I believe, and act contrary to that. You don't actually believe. If you act consistently or in conformity with things you actually believe. So if you say, I'm a Christian, but you act differently than what Jesus said a Christian was, then you're not a Christian, you're a hypocrite. Okay? You can say, I believe, but believing isn't what you say, it's what you do. And let's see. So, anything else happen? Okay, good. Matticus von Atticus has made it. We can start the day. The Untersergeant has arrived. And what time are you leaving for Vegas? Matticus von Atticus. Roman centurion. Okay, well, let's talk about IQ for a second. How important is IQ, according to Jordan Peterson? And he does a very good job of breaking it down. He talks about Wonderlic Company, the tests that they do, which is the IQ test that we give. And I know every month I say the same thing. Every month we don't give the IQ test. And the reason we don't is, number one, it's a lot of work on our side. But number two, it does not have the intended results. Most of the people who want to take the IQ test have this self-belief that they were a genius. Somebody told them when they're young they're a genius. They dropped out of school because school was boring. And that they have a really high IQ. Taking the IQ test is a way to prove how smart they are. And then perhaps they'll do an online IQ test, which is kind of doesn't work. It has to be proctored. There are time constraints and things like that that you have to do. Doing it on your phone isn't really the same as having pieces of paper to do it. But when they do the Wonderlic test, it kind of breaks their self-belief. So yes, Wonderlic, great. Okay, and for Jordan Peterson, back to that, how important is IQ? And Jordan Peterson would say it's extremely important, but he further breaks it down into two types of IQ, fluid IQ and crystallized IQ. Crystallized IQ, he will say, is what's measured in the test, the SAT, LSAT, GRE, APT, ACT, etc. All of those are crystallized memory. It's how much you know. So think of it like this cup. And a perfect score in the SAT is, say, this line right here. Boom, that line there. And this is what you should know in order to get a perfect score on the SAT. And because inside of here is stuff that you need to be able to go beyond to learn more. If you don't know this, you can't learn this because this is built on this. And this is, so this is crystallized IQ. Over time, this cup could have holes in it, and like brain disease or Dr. Amen from yesterday. So you can have brain damage from alcohol, drugs, traumatic brain injury, something growing on your brain, or brain disease. And the stuff that's in here goes away. It's less. So you have to continue to add more stuff. So that's one type of IQ Jordan Peterson talks about. The other type is fluid IQ, which one way to think about it would be a little pump on here that's taking information from everywhere else and processing it and dripping it into here. So the fluid IQ gathers the information and puts it into here, into your crystallized IQ, the stuff that you know. So the interesting thing is if this, let's call it a pump, if the pump or the refinery mechanism, the processing thing, let's just call it the pump, if the pump is damaged, the ability to have more new crystallized IQ goes down. And there's evidence to show that smoking marijuana damages the pump. And that is represented by people who the ability to gather new information goes down greatly as marijuana use goes up. They just stop learning, stop gaining new information. They drop out of school. Generally, people drop out of school after starting to smoke marijuana, not before. They don't drop out of school, then start smoking marijuana. They start smoking, they're doing poorly in school, take on marijuana, and then lose interest. And a theory of they lose interest because the pump is damaged. So it's not like, I just don't care about studying anymore. I don't care about learning. It's like the thought of learning doesn't occur to me. My interest in learning doesn't occur. My interest in the effects of marijuana does interest me, and I will pursue that. And so new information doesn't become crystallized. It gets locked in at that level. So how important is IQ? Well, it turns out that every job has an IQ range. Let's represent it on this piece of paper. Let's say this is the IQ range for people here to do a job. This is the IQ range for a job, not people. And so here's the minimum IQ you need to do the job, and here's the maximum IQ you need to do the job. And one of the first things Jordan Peterson talks about is, so here's the minimum IQ. What does the job look like for you? It looks really, really hard, right? It's very hard to do the job. You come home from work, from doing the job, and it's like, God, that was hard. I really got my butt kicked in there. Now, the next question is, well, how do you look to the other employees? How do they perceive you? So what do they say when they go home? Oh, man, we got this new guy today. He's a total moron. And probably they're going to be like, hey, nice to meet you. Just you go do your thing. And in their brain, they're saying, because you're going to screw up my job. You're going to make it harder for me to do my job. So please just go do your job. So you're not going to feel good about your job. You're not going to feel good about how other people feel about you if this is where you enter. On the other hand, if you enter here, the job looks boring. The job is boring because it's so easy. And the other employees look like morons, right? Especially the people down here. So that's not a fulfilling job. That's not fulfilling. So where in it should it be? A lot of people immediately say 50-50, right in the middle. And the answer is no, because there you're kind of like a non-character player. You're not good, you're not bad, you're just there. You're just a body. You don't get any attention. You're probably not going to get a raise. And then you end up being that person where the job doesn't matter to you. It's not challenging. It's not too hard, et cetera, et cetera. So Jordan Peterson says you should be halfway in the upper half, so about 25%. So it's still challenging, but you're good at it and you get noticed. So that's what he says. Have a job where your IQ is at the top 25th percentile in that for that job. Okay, that's what he's saying to do. Get that. And of course, as you get better at that, right, you used to keep moving up, then you want to get a promotion. And so over time, your career is continually going up because you learn more. As you learn more, the job becomes more routine, less challenging. So to keep you there, you need to keep moving into more challenges, or maybe you move over here. But let's say this. Let's say your IQ, here's the range, but your IQ is up here. How does the job look to you then? And most people say, super boring, man. It's super boring, man. And the answer is no, not really. What it looks like to you is, hey, I can restructure this job to be more efficient. We can change this so we can get more accomplished. And of course, your boss urinates on your idea and says, we're not paying you to redesign the job. We're paying you to do the job we want you to do. Then you get in conflict with your boss and you might get fired. Right. Well, and it turns out your boss is kind of right, because when you are here and you come up with some good ideas, you're raising the bar. So these people get less happy with the job because now it's harder. They don't really know what they're doing. Some people who were here, when you had your improvements, now they can't do the job anymore. Should that be the case? Yeah. But there's other constraints like, well, we're not going to pay people more. To get people with an IQ of here to do the job, to be here, they're here now. We're going to change the job so they're going to be here, but we're not going to pay them more. Doesn't work. So those are the challenges. Jordan Peterson then goes on to talk about a lot of the other challenges with IQ in society in general. Talks about the problems that if you don't have an IQ high enough to do a work, what do we do with you? But that's a different story for a different time. Our people are not in that position. Our students are not in that position. It's 1721 in, going to Las Vegas today, going to be taking Maria to the food bank down in Vegas to see if we can bring them back into the fold. Start that process again. So Maticus von Atticus, what do you think of that idea? Going to the food bank. The food bank in Vegas. That was Maria's idea. So we shall see. We shall see what we shall see. And yeah, so good day. Got to get on the peloton. Good news regarding the Christian Women's Home, which I'm calling Joan of Arc, St. Joan of Arc, because she's a great role model for our women. Just like Ignatius of Loyola is a great role model for all of our people, St. Joan of Arc is a great role model for our women. And we got the well working yesterday. The power got turned on to the right thing. Now we just need to get water to the new place, and we'll see what happens there. So with that, we will say sayonara. Sayonara, people. Boom.